Hello, fellow Factorians, and welcome back to my Pyanodons challenge run. During the last episode, I had a hectic time trying to build out more power so that my base didn't brown itself out, depending on a supply of augs to provide an emergency backup before things went down. And I did fix things, but it was my second failure in a row, and I was really looking forward to not having any more failures. And I didn't. Things went fine. Not perfect. There are some issues that I need to work on, but now it's going to be more of smoothing out the production of signs rather than tearing my hair out as things fail all around me. During the hands-off period, I looked for issues and I planned out a couple of train builds. Going forward, that's going to be a lot of what I do during the hands-off period, planning out the blueprints that my train bots will then go ahead and build for me. There's going to be a significant amount of maintenance on the science base, I'm sure, both fixing things as they run out of supplies and also improvements as I get technologies that I can use to make things more efficient. But more and more of the focus is going to be on the train base. Not this time, though. I think there's going to be a lot of maintenance this time. Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the live play. So we did not have a failure this time, thankfully. I really didn't want a three-peat on this particular one. Not to say we don't have problems. We definitely have problems, or I have problems. Amongst my problems is a lack of latex, which is leading to a lack of rubber. Actually, it's funny that a lot of these problems all hit the same system, but in a way that does not compound the problem. So I have not enough Rauch sometimes, so not enough latex, but I also don't have enough aromatics, so I wouldn't be able to make as much rubber as I should be able to either. I have not enough steam going to make the latex, which is okay because I'm not producing as much Pi 1 as I could because I have slightly too little molten glass. So overall, it adds up to no failures, only a little bit decreased production, and my buffers of zinc and laboratory science or laboratory instruments being drained, but serving their purpose. That said, I don't want to allow those bottlenecks to persist, so we're going to go ahead and fix as many of them this episode as we possibly can. Let's jump into hands-on mode and start work. And this is going to be, as usual, started with me copying a blueprint onto my mall to go have it start working on things while I get started on something else. So the first thing I want to start on is actually an overproduction issue. I'm making a little bit too much in the way of solidified sarcoris, so I'm seeing spoilage come through. And I don't have this solidified sarcoris production area in the right spot. I really should have built it next to rather than far away from where I make logistics science, so I could better monitor exactly how much solidified sarcoris is there. But between the fact that I'm using a caravan and it's far away and there's a runtime, I cannot do that. So instead, I'm installing this. This is a flow limiter on basic substrate, one of the ingredients. There's a lot of ways to tackle flow limiting solidified sarcoris, but this is just one. I know that I need exactly 1.11 repeating basic substrate to make 240 logistic signs per minute. So I've installed this circuitry that counts up just a regular counter cell in memory, and then subtracts -54 every time a basic substrate goes past this belt. So essentially is a rate limiting the basic substrate, and therefore I should spoil less solidified sarcoris. And solidified sarcoris is kind of expensive because it loses the plasmid when it spoils, and plasmids are glassware and simple circuits and etc. Kind of expensive. So that is one item to fix. Next item to fix. Next item to fix is I'm running a little low on rubber, so I would like to make sure that I don't send any of my rubber to the bootstrap base to build stuff unless I have extra. So I want to prioritize the rubber that goes through to only go to the laboratory instrument production. So I'm going to have this caravan go to a backup stop. That's just going to help out. And then I'm going to use the rubber that I've stockpiled for its intended purpose as a stockpile. Okay, so that's one fix. I also want to make a little bit more aromatics, so I'm going to adjust how this treated wood system works. I'm going to stop voiding creosote through here if I can help it, and instead make extra aromatics through here. Although it looks like aromatics is actually full right now, but that's because I'm low on latex. So instead, I'm going to fix my latex and then come back to this. So to fix latex, I've got two issues. One is just a dumb mistake here where I did not hook up the creamy latex to this extra latex build I put in a while ago. So that should fix that. And then another is that I'm not getting quite enough steam into the other latex builds, probably because I stopped making rubber. So it kind of caused a cascade issue. But instead, I'm just going to add a couple extra valves so I can top up my steam supply. All right, and there we go for that. Then I've got an issue right here where I could use more molten glass down this way, so I need to take this valve away and replace it with some bidirectional valves. I had thought I would be supplying too much molten glass down to this area because I've got a molten glass production facility hooked straight up to it, but turns out I was wrong about which direction the glass should flow. Yeah, for some reason this one is not producing that much. I guess a couple of these, yeah, these crystal mines have failed, so I'll go and take those away. I definitely need to be concerned about how much molten glass I can produce in the future as those crystal miners fail. Okay, and that sorts that out. So I'm going to go back to the aromatic situation. All right, I'm just going to consume more of my creosote to go ahead and deal with my aromatic situation. I am overflowing with creosote. Some of it's getting burned to make treated wood often, so should be okay with that. But I will make sure that that is, yeah, we'll make sure that it doesn't cause problems. All right, and that should help out. I basically just set it up so that the creosote doesn't, or sorry, the treated wood that voids creosote doesn't flow through and get burned up unless my creosote is overtopping a certain amount. So, and that will help feed these aromatic producers because I did notice that sometimes, not currently, but sometimes I was not able to make as much plastic or as I wanted, and in the future I'll need more for zinc. Speaking of, I want to move this zinc to the top of the technology queue. I do love how the auto tech change made it, a recent change to hard mode made a lot of the technologies cheaper. I overpaid for a bunch of them, it looks like, so this zinc processing one was almost twice as expensive than it is now. So that will finish in only 1 hour, which is just fantastic. I might not have built so much science if I had been playing with the lower amounts. Since I did just unlock the tidal power tech, I'm going to go ahead and start making tidal power plants. These are going to be great because they are a very low UPS. They're basically like solar panels. I found out that the fish turbines, my favorite, are kind of betrayed me because they actually do cost more UPS than I expected. So we're going to be replacing them with tidal power plants. These make completely predictable power, 6 megawatts all the time, day, night. It's just fantastic in that sense. They do have, they are more expensive than if I was just doing this entirely with biomass power. But I'm willing to pay that cost for kind of dependable power. And at the scale I'm playing at, because I have these long hands-off periods to accumulate supplies, it actually works out really well for me, whereas it might not for somebody who is trying to play much faster. So I'm just going to set this up to get the refined concrete that it needs and move the cages that I displaced somewhere else, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Next thing is I am a little bit short on muddy sludge. So I wasn't making as many Vrauks as I should have been, although because of the other issues with latex, that wasn't as much of a problem as that it could have been. Yeah, again, a bunch of non-compounding errors ended up with me doing things mostly fine. So I'm going to add just a little bit more muddy sludge production and also void out a whole bunch of the soil that I'd been keeping around at the bootstrap base that I no longer need because I'm going to be making all those buildings that require soil out at the mall. Hopefully my muddy sludge will catch up to where it should be. I'll have to double check on that. Also, while I'm up here, I've noticed that this copper mining sometimes runs a little bit short. So I'm going to go ahead. Oops, did I not get... didn't grab the screeners, so I'll have to go back to base and grab those. But anyway, yeah, I'll need a little bit more copper mining in this place to keep my copper flowing. Because now copper is definitely something, even the copper that flows into the bootstrap base is 100% necessary to make simple circuits. So I have to grab some more supplies and then come back and fix this up. Also realized my solution for composting in here is a problem. The biocrud, you require 4 of them to compost at a time, so my solution of here just stopping inserting wood would have jammed the system. So I'm going to do something slightly different here. All right, and that should take care of it if I get biocrud from this basic substrate build. Let me go finish off the copper, and then we'll move on to the next thing. All right, that takes care of that. So on to the next task. Just want to check on my tidal power here. I think I can get it running a little better if I turn this around and put some space in here for mechanical parts. Although there should be mechanical parts on the belt. I'm not sure why they weren't there, and yeah, they should be on there. Might be something I need to debug about how this system works at the moment, but yeah, this will make it work. Let's see, what else do you need? Mechanical parts, utility boxes. Maybe we'll need some more utility boxes on the belt as well. Yeah, definitely more utility boxes, considering the mechanical parts also need them. These are expensive solutions to power, but they will be good long-term 0 UPS power. Right, at least the utility boxes are getting made. Okay. Hopefully I'll come back to at least 20 of them. So on to the next task. Next thing I want to do is build the other tiles. I've got a couple of things to do that are toward the south, so I'm going to... Actually, let me clear out the rest of the soil, and then I will build those other tiles. One of the tiles takes limestone as well, so I can kind of use this to get rid of a whole bunch of limestone that I've been buffering and no longer want to buffer. So yeah, here are the other 2 tiles that I want to make. They are... one of them is asphalt. It's a nice black tile, although I do have a pretty pure black tile from Factorio. This one is cheap and also gives you the same movement speed as refined concrete, so that's really nice. And the other one is a cool looking white tile, which I don't have access to, so that's really going to be useful. And again, it gives you the same walking speed as the refined concrete. I also need to feed this one limestone, so let me do that. Just like with the iron oxide tiles, I'm putting them someplace that is convenient for the ingredients. I'll step back here and grab a whole bunch of them whenever I feel like I need some. But for right now, they can just do their work for a long period of time. So it looks like I'm low on pitch at the moment. Okay. Next thing I want to do is fix a few things with my Vrauk production. So let me grab something and then I'll be right back. Needed to balance the cocoons coming in because one of the builds wasn't running full tilt, and then also perhaps recruit a few more Vrauk paddocks into working again. So we'll do that. Yeah, as you can see, my buffer of Vrauks got used up, and then they are coming in slowly through that belt. So definitely need some more production. Speaking of which, I can stop even caring about monitoring that box. I think I should just undo this thing that I'd done a while ago to prevent myself from using up all the latex. Managed to get some spoilage over here that spoiled all the way toward being biomass, so I need to make sure to deal with that. I'll do that with the other stacks as well. I think it's because my muddy sludge ran short, so rather than it being... I kind of thought that the flora splinten would always get picked off there, but somehow, yeah, it managed to get all the way down to the end there without being flora splinten. No idea. All right, that should max out my Vrauk production. So now we can move on toward setting up the trainbot depots that I've put down blueprints for. Let me go over and make sure I've got all the supplies to do that. I should have them sitting on my taxi train, but I think I might want to build the construction extenders myself. And I don't think I have as many as I would like on the train, so I'll manually grab a few. Where are they at? Also program my taxi to just have more of them on board. All right, so here's my new tar production. I can't even see it on the map yet. Let me, sorry, premature. I'll talk about it when you can actually see it. This is my new design for making tar and coal gas, just like I do over here. As you can see with the older design, I pull in many belts of raw coal off of this coal patch that is fully exploited, and then do some direct insertion between this machine that takes raw coal and turns it into coal gas, tar, regular coal, and iron oxide, passes off the regular coal to turn into more of those, plus some coke. And this is nice, except A, it's not built for trains, and B, I don't like how many belts of raw coal it consumes. Well, I mean, how many belts of raw coal it shuffles around. So I've done the on-patch mining thing, where miners face directly into these DDCs that take raw coal, and then instead of 15 belts worth of raw coal to feed all of these, I'm instead exporting the 4 belts or less of the regular coal over to these machines that are then going to take the regular coal, and they will put the coke product onto trains directly. If the train that is attached to this, oops, where's that wire? Missing a wire. Okay, anyway, I'll fix some of this because I can tell that there's at least one mistake in here. But this is going to read this train station, say, hey, are you full of coke? If so, and obviously you haven't moved on to drop off at a different spot, then go ahead and turn on these pumps that export the steam from boilers. The boilers will be turning the coke into ash and loading that ash directly onto a train. So that's how I'm going to get a lot of direct insertion out of this process. There's only the coke, the coal flowing on belts, and only 4 belts worth of it. So pretty efficient. I do need to fix that, and I'll be back after I've done that. Set up the trainbot depot. I also want to place the construction zone extenders myself so that I at least see that they're down. And yeah, be back soon. Okay, I've got this set up. Had to do a couple of fixes to the build. Hopefully this will work. I'll have to re-examine when I get back here, but I'm deliberately not connecting power up to the mining section so that it won't suddenly run off the rails. I want to watch it turn on when I do it. You may also notice that I don't have any of the fluids that I'm making connected, and that's because I'm planning to set up a large refinery complex somewhere in here. I will also be potentially tapping into these bitumen seeps at some point. I've got a couple of stone patches in reasonable range, so I could grab the keratin from them, and that's going to be my strategy for how I design some pieces of my belt. I'm not going to, sorry, my base, not my belt. What am I talking about? I'm not going to be too persnickety about putting everything onto a train. If I think that I can do what I'm doing down here with my science base, oops, why is this not coming in to focus, where I pass fluids around on pipes, and it's reasonable to do so, then I'm going to pass it around on pipes. I don't want to have a train that's delivering 2,000 or 3,000 tar per second to a build if I could just run a pipe to do it, especially once I get the longer reach pipes. Of course, I will try and make sure that I do it when it's smart to do so, either when it's logistically convenient to have lots of targets or because the amount of flow is just really low and it's not worth optimizing. But yeah, I've talked enough about this. The point is that I'm going to kind of deviate from the standard city block method of building for efficiency purposes, and because I think there's some aesthetic value to not be too rigid about things, even though for most of my Factorio career, I've built very, very rigid city block designs. Anyway, I'm going to put down the construction zone extenders here, make those same fixes, and move on to the next thing. Let's look at my task list while I run back to the other build and do one more fix. Actually, I think I forgot to drop builds bots in this one, but oh well, I can look at it while I jaunt back and forth and remember what I need to do. I deprioritized rubber to the bootstrap depot. I replaced cages with tidal power. This one I'm not going to do. More copper mining done, more Vraux done, more aromatics, fixed latches. I did not do that. Let me see if I can. I wanted to fix that train station. And I did drop bots here, so just time to go back, and then I can fix the latches while I'm in map view. So over here, I made a mistake when I set up these latches. This number is supposed to be higher. It's supposed to be, you reach this, either you are above this limit, or you are below that limit, but above a certain limit, and also the A1 signal is being sent. So the A1 signal is looping, and this is now a latch, whereas what I had before was not. So now it should get, oops. Is it working? Yeah, it's saying yes, it's just the other gases are there already. So now that should turn all of them into latches properly. And this should run down to, 3,000, go up to 8 again, put that back in. Although it takes a while for the pumps to remove all of it, so. Okay, I'm back here. Need to put these bots in, and I can go do some other stuff. Let's see, what else is on my task list? I've fixed the molten glass at pi 1 to be better. Can I go back home? Nope. Now I can go back. I have to go past these train signals. All right. As I was saying, I fixed the spoilage at the cocoon makers. I fixed the latches now. I adjusted treated wood at Depot 2. I have not done the loop solidified Sarcoris. I did put in a rate limiter, though, so that part is done. Let's first take a quick peek at this. Still no pitch. Oh, I have not put in the gravel correctly. Fortunately, I'm about to zoom past there, so if I stop at the exact right time, close enough. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the thing that I was just talking about, which is looping solidified sarcoris. If I can pick the right train side. Yeah, let's go through here. So the issue is that solidified sarcoris will get to the end of this belt, and then even though there's the right amount being sent down here, it's going to spoil at the end of the belt because it gets sent in bursts rather than, like at a slow trickle. So some of these labs will have none, and this belt will have the end of that belt will have too much. So what I'm going to do is just make it loop around. So we'll put in a "you shall not pass" filter. Anyway, I'll fix it and maybe show you what I'm doing. All right, so the point is that I'm going to get the solidified sarcoris at the end of the belt and reinsert it at the start, and that's about it. But I can also intercept some of it mid-route, so that'll be even a little bit more efficient. So I'll take care of this. Be right back. Okay, that should make my logistics science even a little bit more efficient, and hopefully no more solidified sarcoris will be spoiling on me. And that's the end of the important part of the task list. I was going to add more simple circuits, but we're getting toward the end of the episode, and I'd like to end this one with not too much hands-off time on the clock, because I'd like to do the zinc processing next time before my zinc buffers have a chance to fully deplete themselves. Although I have had enough aromatics sometimes, hopefully with all the latex fixes, rubber is running full tilt, and that probably means my latex is still in good shape. I mean, sorry, my aromatics are still in good shape, but I'd rather not tempt fate if possible. Let's put all this stuff back. So the train's going to complain about the fact that I don't have ghost combinators able to be built. And we'll see how many tidal power stations I have. 16. 16 isn't nothing. I'd like to have more. Definitely would like to see more utility panels on the belt, but I guess they're coming through. That is about 100 megawatts of power, so I might as well go ahead and install it somewhere. This is going to be my new favorite thing to do at the end of the episode, like I had been doing with windmills, except these are even better in some ways. They provide consistent power. They don't take UPS. I thought the windmills didn't either, but it turns out they do. And yeah, I decided I'm going to start laying them down to next to any place that I have tracks that cross water as kind of like the first cut of where I put them. So I'll have some right next to these tracks out here. So that's not going to be a ton of power, but it is going to be a little chunk now. Yeah, a pretty small chunk, but close to 100 megawatts. So let's double check that my power situation is okay. Yeah, I have these kind of stuck at 16K right now because that's when certain things turn on and turn off to add more power. So I'm not worried about it being at 16K, but I would like it to be a little bit higher. That said, I don't think I'm going to worry about it more. Hopefully I'll have a pile more of these coming in as those utility panels come through. So thank you for joining me this episode. Next time we'll see how my train bots did, start building out this refinery complex, get some zinc processing in, and yeah, maybe we'll get to the simple circuits. See you next time.